Good afternoon, good evening. I wanted to thank you all for your participation at this event. For those who don't know me, my name is Michael Angela Rosado. Yeah, I'm the president of the board of directors of the Epilepsy Alliance chapter, also known as Sociedad Puertorriqueña de Epilepsia here in Puerto Rico, and also an Epilepsy Alliance founding member and part of their actual board of directors. But the reason why I'm here today, is to share with you my experiences with epilepsy, but not as a board member. I'm here to share my experiences as a patient and the real reason why I became an epilepsy advocate. It all started back in May 23rd, 84. It was my high school graduation day. I remember I was celebrating not only that I had completed my high school, but also that I had been admitted to the university that I really wanted to go here in Puerto Rico, Sacred Heart University. That high school graduation morning, when I was getting ready at the hotel room to go to my graduation, I had what I know now was my first seizure. No one understood at the moment what was happening to me. Everyone thought that it was something related to my diabetes. But even though all that, I enjoyed my graduation. Then, that same summer, I was in North Carolina visiting my brother when I had my second episode. When I heard the description of what had happened in North Carolina and in Puerto Rico, I went and told my endocrinologist here in PR, Dr. Efrain Rodriguez Vigil. I explained it to him what had happened. I remember he sent me to get some medical tests done and later on referred me to a neurologist who diagnosed me with epilepsy. It was hard being a teenager, learning to deal with diabetes and also now with epilepsy and entering the university all at once. But I took the challenge and I did it. I remember I had many events related to it. For example, I remember walking back to the classroom at the university when this other student just gets close to me and throws me a punch. Yeah, I defended myself. Then when they stopped us, they told me that the reason of his aggression was because on my way to the restroom, I threw at him a cup of coffee that I had on my hands. And I kept on walking like nothing happened. I had explained to them and the campus administrators that I had a seizure in order to not get penalized or kicked out of the university. After I explained them, thank God the university established a program assisting people with my condition. Also, on May 1990, the day of my final test to complete my BA, I remember waking up, running to pick up a phone call. I told then my friend, my head hurts, my tongue hurts. Then I went straight to the shower and I noticed that the water that was coming down was red. Why? It was because when I was sleeping, I had a seizure, fell down out of the bed, cracked my head, bleeded a lot in the floor, and went back to it. I had to go then to the hospital, to the emergency room. But from there, I ran away from the hospital to go and take my final. I got late for my final test, but thank God, when my professor saw my stitches, my clothes full of blood, and all the hospital bracelets, she asked me, what you doing here? And she excused me from the final. I could have died that day, but I took the challenge and I graduated twice from the university. Originally, I was told to give it a chance, but I did it. Another big incident was at home. I was cooking for my nephew, James, when I had a seizure and I saw the burner was red. This caught my attention, so I went and grabbed it with my own hands, burning my both hands and 2 fingers all the way to the bone. I came back from the seizure and I noticed what had happened. I had to drive myself to the hospital in order to get there. And thank God, I didn't lose my hands. Also once, I was here in PR at the old San Juan, that's the capital. I was with some friends when I had a seizure. They knew what to do. But when an officer passed by and started wondering what was happening to me, but when he got close to me acting and he saw me acting weird, he grabbed his stick and knocked me out. My friends had an interview with the officer and explained him that I was having a seizure. I couldn't understand why. When I had seizures and was coming out of them, I would realize something had happened based on people's reaction. I saw people screaming, running away from me, or just staring at me. But even worse, most of the time, not helping. I went to all awful experiences. I even lost jobs days after seizures. But even though all these struggles, I kept on fighting. I didn't had a choice. I was able to complete, even though all this, in 1990, my first BA, and in 1991, my second degree in marketing. Then a couple of months after this, I remember back in 92, I was able to get a job. I started working, yeah, at a university, Ana Jimenez University here in Puerto Rico. This job not only represented a big satisfaction, but also working at one of the most recognized universities in the island, an university well known for their community service program as a financial aid administrator. This job was great, but also was a big challenge because I was getting used to avoiding crowds. Now I had a job at Ana Jimenez University. That was requesting me interaction with thousands of students, listening to their needs and assisting them. It was a big but wonderful challenge in my life. I was happy I had achieved it. Also, that same year, I met this wonderful girl, Lilibet. Her and her family, they all accepted me. Even though my physical conditions, after dating for 2 years, we got married. And in December 95, my daughter was born, Amanda Michelle. Before my daughter, all I really worked on wasn't surviving. But now I had a reason to search for new options. I wanted to provide her with everything in the world. But no matter how hard I was trying, my condition was going from bad to worse until the year 2000. After many studies, trying many different medications, extremely high dosage, over 3,500 milligrams a day, my seizures were still out of control. I had accidents, broke my head, burned my hands, and had events like also happening at the time my father died, and I was told my mother was in her final stage. That bring a hard time in myself. But when I was told I was going to be a father again for Leanne, whose name is Leanne today, and now I was not wanting to put my second daughter to live the same experiences that Amanda, my first daughter, had lived. That's when I went to a hospital in New York, NYU, for neurological studies that were not available here in Puerto Rico. There, under the care of a wonderful neurologist, Hispanic, Blanca Vázquez, bendición. She made many studies and presented me with an option for my seizures. She identified my neurological complication and offered me a brain surgery. This surgery was something new by that time, but I had nothing to lose and everything to gain. So I went for it. And thank God today, 21 years later, I have been since then 100% seizures free, no medications. A year later, 100% seizures free. After my surgery, my biggest satisfaction was to let my mother know I was fine. I went to the nursing home and I wanted to tell her this, but she wouldn't believe it. So what I did, I went and removed all the cables connected to her. She was on her last stage. I remember I picked it up on my hands. I went and put her in my car. Nobody dared to say nothing to me. And then I was able to pass her by my house and my job, the first and only time she was able to see it. I did this so she wouldn't know and that everything was fine with me. Because if I didn't put her on a car with me, it was because I was fine. Yeah, my mother later passed away, but she passed away knowing that her kid was fine. I still remember that day, but I remember the smile on her face. That's why in February 2002, I went back to the Epilepsy Alliance chapter in Puerto Rico, Sociedad Puertorriqueña de Epilepsia, but this time not as a patient. I went with gratitude to them for helping me at the beginning, and gratitude to the Lord for giving me a second chance. I expressed my interest in helping my community as a volunteer, and thank God was invited to join the board of directors as a volunteer community representative. Yeah, little by little, I grew up becoming now the president of the Puerto Rican chapter, founding member of Epilepsy Alliance of America, an actual part of their board of directors. When I started with the board directors of Epilepsy Alliance, that's when I really had a chance and started putting my effort in providing my community with all the information, service, orientations about this condition that I had learned the hard way because nobody taught me. I had to learn it myself. And I've been taking seminars to school, communities, universities based on experiences to police academies and government agencies, providing also the service needed, not only for the patients, but also to their relatives, friends, co-workers, and their community. The service we provided, we also presented laws prohibiting medical insurance to exchange medications for bioequivalents, driver's license regulation that at the moment we're not based in Puerto Rico, now we have them, laws providing census information to our entity in benefit of the people with epilepsy. I was also providing laws for a better environment at schools and at works, agreement with hospitals nearby, providing service to people recently diagnosed with epilepsy and their relatives, telling them what to do, how to do it, and putting ourselves for the service. Agreement with other entities that provide similar service, cancer, for diabetes. Why? It's easier for us to express our needs. Financial assistance we provide to patients that cannot cover their expenses. And now, thanks to the Epilepsy Alliance and the integration of all these entities, this service, which is provided nationwide, is now available here in Puerto Rico. And anyone that needs it, so please help me, Cassidy, and all these entities spread the news and orientate everyone. Remember that things are possible because they have already been done. The things that are considered impossible are just waiting to be done. So let's give a hand. And here, I had to express my gratitude. There's my wife and my two girls who are the real meaning why I do what I do. It's like I try to teach my kids. I love you very much. And I wanted to thank each one of you for your backup.